Hello and welcome to My Left Ear. I'm Carrie Freeman. My Left Ear is a liberal YouTube site. And so if you're not liberal or independent, you might not like it here. So there you go. It's Tuesday, December 27th. And I also do psychic commentary and I do runes surrounding current events and some other goodies. Now, My Left Ear, it's called My Left Ear because I get psychic information through my left ear. That's how I came up with this pithy little title. But it's true, that's how it happens. And sometimes I'm in the middle of talking and I get interrupted with information. And if that happens, I will share that with you. So did I say it's Tuesday, the 27th? I think I did. So there's a lot of things I do aside from just this YouTube channel. I do psychic coaching, one-on-one psychic coaching in person or through Zoom. And I do therapeutic hypnosis. I also can do runes readings privately for people. So my phone number and my email is below and above in the community section. I'm also an author. I help people with writing situations, and some of you know about that. And this is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, please like. That's how we all grow. So a couple of new announcements. There's a brand new Patreon with my runes teachings, which I'll be doing tomorrow. We have we had 2 more runes. I can't remember. I wrote down the names of which the runes are, but I don't have it written down here. So, okay. 2 more runes tomorrow. And then after that, there'll be 4 more runes and we'll finish the whole cycle. So there will be a Patreon tomorrow. And then I'm thinking on Friday, I'm going to do another Writer Beware Part 2, because I didn't complete the whole story and there were things that I wanted to share. So that's coming, all of that. All right, now we're going to get on to it. I did 3 runes today, which I hope will be interesting to you. I try to ask the runes questions that I think my people will be interested in. So this question, what's the energy for the first 6 months of 2023? And I mean politically. That's what I meant when I threw the runes and I asked them the question. So it's very interesting what I got. It feels true to me. It feels accurate to me. The first rune I got was defense. And defense indicates that we are being tested. So when I say we, I'm talking about the Democrats, the independents being tested. And as we are tested, this rune says, we avert blockage and defeat. When I was typing this sentence just boom, came through my left ear, and it is Hakeem Jeffries is a very strong speaker. He's going to be so good for the Republican House. That came through. Then defense rune appears to be an obstacle. And that's when I want to go, no blank, Sherlock, because the obstacle are the members of the GOP that are in the House, the broken, horrible members of the GOP, most of them. But the defense rune says that a delay may prove beneficial, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see. It also advises, don't try to push through and don't act desperate. The truth is, the Democrats will get the House back in 2 years. And they all know that. I know it. They know it. So there's a whole thing about being patient. And this rune talks about that. Do not act desperate. It signals a time of waiting. And then also, my left ear popped in on this, and it said, also waiting for the appropriate, guilty Congress people to get indicted, because that is going to happen, my friends. It's going to happen. Foresight is important. The ability to foresee the consequences. All these smart people do see the consequences. Now, what's interesting, I have your answer here, is in the middle of this, I got the rune of joy in the reversed position, all right? Not joy upright, reversed. And this indicates things are very slow coming to fruition. Common sense just tells us that under the circumstances coming up. And it's a long and arduous passage, all right? It even says a crisis or a difficult passage is at hand. That doesn't come as a surprise to us with this flip of the House. And by the way, it's a very minor flip. The GOP has the predominant members, but by very few. I mean, it's really marginal. So some of those Republicans will actually at some point vote with Democrats here and there. Do not be surprised by that. That's why it's so tenuous, as they say. Now, with joy reversed, it does say, again, a crisis and or a difficult passage is at hand. Now we got the answer. We got the last rune on this about the first part of 23. I got the movement rune reversed. So it is movement that appears blocked. And not all possibilities are open to the Democrats in this first 6 months. The message here may be to avoid action. That's what the runes are suggesting. Just lay low, because a lot of things are going to happen in 6 months. I'm just talking about movement within the House. There's going to be a lot of more legal things coming up. And then this was a situation where my left ear popped in while I was doing this, getting it ready for you. And it said, wait for the indictments. Arrests and people being removed from office. And my left ear really believes that there will be Congress people removed from office, no matter what their position, because these investigations are going deep. And I know I can just focus right in on Jack Smith, and he will not let any detail go unchecked. He's a very thorough guy, and he's an ethics guy. He's all about ethics. Doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you're on. And so I have a lot of faith. We wait for the arrests and the indictments of these people that should not be in Congress. And so that's my final there. 6 months. On one hand, a lot of things are going to happen. On the other hand, slow to make progress for the Democrats in the bills and things that they want to do. All right, so the second rune. Will Donald Trump be indicted before June 23rd? And I can hear all of you just go, what? That's 6 months away. But I wanted to give it some latitude with this question. Personally, my left ear thinks it will be before June of 23, all right? It will be. That's really my left ear on this, but that's the answer I got. So gateway reversed. The first rune I got was gateway reversed. And gateway reversed tells us there's a quickening. There's an intensity of development going on, and that would be the cases. It tells us something is accelerating in the process of self-change. That would be the ex-president. the con artist. And this transformation, listen carefully, can be radical. It will be radical. He can no longer live the familiar, ordinary life in the ordinary way. Ordinary is not quite the right word, but how he has been living it. Privileged. Impulses must be tempered. Right now, he can't do that. He doesn't temper his impulses. And hasty decisions avoided, and he does not avoid hasty decisions. But nevertheless, that's the advice of the runes. Then I got constraint. The rune called constraint. It is about necessity, and it is about pain. This is about learning to deal with the severe constraints. And then I wrote confinement, jail. This rune is to identify the shadow. And of course, in terms of the shadow, that consumes all of Donald Trump and all of the Trump administration. I mean, think about it. He turned it into a RICO shadow organization, cult. And he will never learn. This rune is to identify the shadow, our dark and our repressed side. He will never learn. And then harvest, which may surprise you, but I'm here to interpret it. It's good. Harvest is a rune of beneficial outcomes, but it does often take 1 year. Now, my left ear does not think it's going to take 1 year, but that's what the rune states. Harvest, 1 year until, the crop is ready and the ground is prepared. So patience is essential, but honestly, my left ear feels much sooner than a year, okay? Much sooner, so do not despair. Sooner than spring, okay? Sooner than spring. And then my final rune that I was interested in asking, because it's coming up for me a lot, will Putin collapse in 23? He's not well. He's got Parkinson's and he's got something else on it. I think it's cancer. I think it's pancreatic, I believe. But I got the rune of protection reversed, okay? He's not protected. And the first sentence of this rune is, be careful about your health. That was the first rune I pulled, okay? And it says, do not add to the burdens others are carrying, which he of course has in a very dramatic, evil, criminal way. But it also says, this is interesting, that he, Putin, may be involved with people who are using him. Now, so that makes my left ear think there may be some low-level plots going on. Obviously, things we don't know. Always there's things we don't know. There's things we don't know in Russia. There's things we don't know in the United States. Always. We can just kind of accept that. But this reading indicates there are traitors around him. I'm not feeling an assassination, but I'm feeling a collapse. Just boom. So the last rune here is the rune of wholeness. Now, you would not think that anything with the word Putin would bring up a rune of wholeness. But what this really indicates to me is that once he collapses, wholeness returns for Ukraine. Now, I want to tell you, this morning I was listening to Morning Joe, and Michael Maffal, who was ambassador to Russia, very, very esteemed man, intelligent man, well-spoken, knows Russia so well. And somebody else, I can't remember, maybe a general, They talked about this war going on for years and years and years. I have to tell you, my left ear doesn't think so. I don't think so. But that's what's being said. So if and when you hear that, don't take it as a foregone conclusion. And then go ahead and listen to the other readers that you like, because sometimes putting together our information gives you a better answer. So I just want to say that. I think Putin collapses in 23. All right, there we go. Now I got my little tidbits here. I'm starting to do these tidbits, which is just bullet points of, did you know this? Did you know that? And there was something that really stuck out at me and was humorous to me. There is a congresswoman named Vicky Hartzler. She's from Missouri, and she got up in Congress and cried tears about the freedom for LGBTQ to marry, the freedom to marry that's now in place. But she got up and cried about it, weeping about gay marriage in Congress. Well, her gay nephew, Andrew, saw her, his aunt, crying, and he made a TikTok that went viral. And when it went viral, somebody at the White House saw it, noticed it, and invited the nephew, Vicky Hartzler's nephew, to Washington to celebrate the Freedom to Marriage Act. All right, it's just great. I just love this. His name is Andrew Wartzler, Wartzler, if you want to look up his TikTok. And if you want to look up her weeping in Congress, it's Vicky, Vicky, Hartzler. As if gay marriage is going to deeply impact her life, right? Yeah, okay. Now, did you know that the IRS has a mandatory policy requiring an audit of the president and vice president every year? Yes, they do, which makes sense. But it was never followed for Trump. Haven't found out about Pence yet because he's less important. But it hasn't happened for Trump in 2 years. So I really think it's Mnuchin who made that happen. But now we know there's something crummy at the IRS, because the IRS didn't audit the president, but they audited James Comey and McCabe from the FBI. They did a forensic on them. And everybody's saying, oh, I don't know what happened. It's just a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, my friends. This was ordered by Donald Trump because he's evil, he's revengeful. So that's that. And now, of course, his taxes are being made public, and people can see that he paid a ridiculous amount in taxes, and he cheated, everywhere. I'm not going to go into it. I wrote and then my paragraphing got confused. That's why I was looking. So on Christmas Eve, you may know that Governor Abbott of Texas, who I really hate, really think he's evil, is a Catholic. Says he's a Catholic. He put migrants on a bus in El Paso and dumped them in front of the vice president's house in almost freezing weather. And then welfare people came in and saved them and got them shelter and warmth and food. And I am hoping, a lot of people on Twitter are hoping that Abbott can get charged with trafficking or something like that. I don't know, but I know he can't keep doing that. And it was hard for me to even relax knowing about these children without socks being dumped off. It's just Are we the United States? Do we do that to people? It's just unbelievable. Now, just discovered is a draft of a memo that went out in the White House when Trump was president, threatening in writing to fire anyone who disagrees with the false fraud claims, meaning anybody who was working there was threatened if they said, I don't think the election was stolen. I think Joe Biden won the election. So that's pretty fascist, right? So when I was putting this together, it was kind of heavy, and I came to good evidence, and I thought, you know what? I saw a lot of pictures online of people that received puppies for Christmas. I saw videos of like children opening a box with their puppy and crying. So I just want to say good evidence to anybody who received a puppy or a kitten for Christmas, because what could be better, right? And now we're coming up on the quote. Discovered this man named Reggie Mills. He's got like 500,000 followers or something. He's a writer, he's an artist, he's very clever, he's very philosophical, and he's written a lot of stuff, but I just like this because of what I have been going through. The writer beware story. He wrote, never give up on something you really want. It's difficult to wait, but it's more difficult to regret. And boy, do I agree with Reggie Mills. Thank you very much. All right, so as I said, we're finishing up here. I'm going to go out and pick up some deli food to make myself happy. We've got the runes for the patrons tomorrow, which is Wednesday. And on Friday, I will continue with the Writer Beware Part 2 story. And I wish you a good day recovering from Christmas, and take it easy, take it easy. And also one more thing. I've been getting, since I put Writer Beware chapter 1, or part 1, I've gotten some extremely thoughtful letters from people. I mean, really thoughtful during a time when people are very busy. And I want you to know, I read everything, and I think there were a lot of people that sort of were like, maybe just walk away. And I want you to know, I'm taking it all very seriously, the advice that you get. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you because right in the middle of the holidays, you sat down and you took time to write me, and it meant a lot to me. And that's very seriously. That's what I want to say. Okay. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow again for Patreon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.